That's just two options. There are so many other options available for the kind of business you want to run.
Please have the deed before the money. This is how we are approaching banks.
Hello friends, welcome to Just Legal, a podcast by MNO Advocates. It's our first episode. My name is Liz Nderito. I'm going to be your host today, and today I'm joined by two advocates of the High Court of Kenya.
Terry Otieno, a partner at MNO Advocates.
Daisy Chege, partner at MNO Advocates, LLP.
So, ladies, in today's episode, we dive into understanding entrepreneurship and the role lawyers play in it. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
So, let's start with you, Daisy. Walk us through MNO's genesis, how MNO comes to be.
We are a partnership of 4. We met back in school, and we've been together throughout our career growth. And back in 2016, we came together. We realized we have a passion in changing the way legal services are delivered, and we started MNO Advocates LLP.
Excellent. You said you've been in operation since
2016.
Oh, 2016.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is going to be your 7th year.
Yes.
Okay. So I have some interesting statistics. Did you know that 20% of small, medium enterprises fail within the first year? Then 30% fail within the first 5 years, and 70% fail within the first 10 years.
That's rather unfortunate.
Yeah. And such high numbers.
I know.
Yeah.
It's actually shocking.
Yeah, they've been that analysis of entrepreneurship and the way that within the first 2 or 3 years the business either closes down or doesn't do so well, or becomes insolvent. We've been hearing a lot about that.
Okay.
So as MNO being also an entrepreneur, when we started back in 2016, we were basically entrepreneurs. So it's running a law firm. And during that process, during the first years of setting up the law firm, we realized that there are so many challenges. When we were in school, when we were going through the whole training as lawyers, nobody really teaches you how to run a business.
Yeah.
Yes, especially in this environment, in the Kenyan environment, nobody teaches you how to run a business. Yes, you're taught how to be a lawyer, but you're not taught how to, on a day-to-day basis, how do you run this business? How do you onboard employees? How do you make sure you remain compliant with government authorities and statutory laws? How do you make sure that there is growth? That how do you make yourself ready for any kind of eventualities which are bound to happen? So during that process, as we were learning and facing all these challenges, we realized that it was not unique to us. This is what every other entrepreneur goes through, and that is why it leads to that statistic. Yes.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
You're 4 lawyers. You're trained to be a lawyer, not an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So what has, maybe Terry, you could dive a bit deeper into your experience?
Well, as Daisy says, you know, when you leave school, no one has prepared you to be an advocate. So, of course, to prepare you to be an entrepreneur. So, you are an advocate, but you're not an entrepreneur. So, of course, you go in with these lofty dreams, you know, until it gets to end month and you realize you have no salary for your staff. And even, you know, just partnerships. I think one thing that I learned as we went along the way is partnerships with even, let's say, banks, for example, or financial institutions. Where how do I, for example, I've raised capital to start my business, but I need support along the way. I don't want to keep going back to my pocket. I don't even have money to keep going back to my pocket. What partnerships do I have, for example, with financial institutions to help me, for example, have an overdraft that runs to help me like pay my staff, for example, and pay suppliers. So you see things like this. When you're starting out, you have no one who really tells you that you will probably need a relationship, for example, with a financial institution. So you realize when you're deep in it and you actually need the funding at that time. So that's one of the things that I noted from the beginning. You know, how will you relate with regulators? What are the expectations of you as a business person? So as we've gone along, there are things you learn along the way. It's been challenging, but then also from our own experiences, then we are able to advise our clients on a more realistic, coming from a more realistic place, because we're not just giving you information as lawyers, we are giving you information as entrepreneurs who've handled who've experienced some of these things. So I'd say that would be one of the experiences we've gone through.
So it starts with character development.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yes.
So is that why MNO is passionate about entrepreneurs? Could you talk about that?
Yes. Of course, having gone through it and experienced it, we now realize that there's a gap. There's a gap that we can come in and help entrepreneurs with, especially to allow you to work with us. We get into a relationship from the beginning. If you come to us as someone who wants to venture into entrepreneurship, we work with you through the journey from the beginning, starting with what vehicle do you want to do this entrepreneurship with. Do you want to incorporate a business? Do you want to do a business name? Because we realized in Kenya, whenever someone wants to start a business, the first thing they do is either incorporate a limited liability company or a business name.
Yes,
but you see that's just two options. There are so many other options available to entrepreneurs, but most of them are not aware. So when you come to us as MNO advocates, we take you through from the beginning. What vehicle would be most appropriate for the kind of business you want to run? What are your future goals? What are your future plans for growth? And from that, we're able to determine which is the best vehicle. We work with you step by step until to the point we basically make you investor ready, so that in case there's your business has grown to a point and there's somebody who is interested, say an investor either locally or internationally, you are investor ready. So that means you are compliant with the laws. Your books are okay, because it's a business and or entrepreneurship is you can't just stand alone. You need advisory on all sectors and factors. You need to consider so many things. So that these are the things we realize that many people are not aware of, and that's where we come in. Yes.
If I could add on that, you see, when our slogan, if I can call it that, is the difference is a great relationship. So it's not just something we put on a card. It's something we live out by, we would like to understand our customers. So we go out and visit them, for example, at their places of business. When I come to your home, when I come to your home and see this how you cook your food, you're more comfortable in your home, aren't you? Rather than when you come to me in my office.
That's true.
Yes.
So we come to your place of work. We understand what it is you do. If it's factories, we'll walk around and see this is the production line, these are the stuff you have, so that when we now meet in the boardroom, we understand this is exactly what this client needs, and this is what these are the laws that would suit them, and this is the vehicle they would need to set it up like this, change this, change that. So we live out our slogan by creating a relationship with our clients that it's not just a boardroom relationship. It's actually all the way back home to you, to your business.
And I think that's something I've personally experienced. When you're not for our listeners, there's a way you look at a lawyer and the law and advocates, the whole fraternity of the law, the legal fraternity. But really, you think you need a lawyer when you're in trouble. And as a business person, even for me, there's something you said about building a relationship and coming to the spaces of these entrepreneurs. For me, I think one of my experiences with you and with MNO as a legal firm, my legal firm of choice, has been how you've also been able to understand. I'm a creative. Okay, I need to structure my business in this type of way. How am I able to grow to the next step? How am I actually being paid? Is it just, am I able to make something out of my business? And it's a conversation we've had with you ladies as well, where we've talked about how so many people have side hustles. And you have most people in our country, in Kenya, have small businesses. But you understand why that 20%, very many of them will fail because you lack the tools, the know-how. So, and even just a partner to work with you in that journey.
Exactly. Yes, that's that's how where we come in as MNO, because we want to change the way legal services are delivered. Like Terry has mentioned, coming to you, understanding your business, or understanding what are your goals, what are your plans, so that we're able to advise you in the best way possible. Because we realize what you're saying. Like people tend to come to lawyers when there's a fire burning, something has gone wrong. That's when you come, and maybe you imagine lawyers only come in when we have to go to court. But that's not the case. We come in from the very beginning. We work with you step by step, especially in the creative industry. That's where we really realize there's a gap, because you have an art, you have a skill or a talent, but you're just doing it like it's a hobby. You have not put in structures legally to set yourself up as a business, and also even preferably even separate yourself from the business, because the business is a separate entity, and you be able to have you have the right partners. Even simple things like if you're growing, you'll need employees, their incomes, labor laws, which you also need a lot of advice on. How does a contract, an employment contract look like? What should it have, so that when something happens, you are well protected and covered. Yes, they look like there are things that are overlooked, and that's something that we realized. But we come in, we fill in this gap for you, and we help you avoid these fires that may come
in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's also, I've also had the feeling of it's a one-stop shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the whole point and goal.
So it's not just that you're setting up for me my company. They are also when I am buying my first property, there's so many, that journey of feeling like you're working with me through, whether it's investing, whether it's setting up my business, whether it's really trying to figure out how do I commercialize my own skills.
Yeah, and I think on that point, it's also, as I've said, we learned from our own experience. We are learning from our own experience. So the one-stop shop for us, the idea came about when, even for us, we do not work. We were not, it's not a solo desert where it's just lawyers and lawyers alone. Even for us in our own business, we needed to have accountants. We needed to have a tax expert. We needed to have HR expertise. So this is something we realized other business obviously will need as well. So we want, when you walk to our office, you will receive HR advice. We partner with other professionals who, we work with, and we'll send you, you'll need HR advice at some point.
Yes,
tax advice. So because we already have those professionals in our pipeline, then you're not like knocking on different doors. When you come to MNO, then you know that everything will be under one roof. You'll get the advice you need, because these are already professionals we've partnered with. They're already vetted. So you can trust that if I'm sending you to a certain tax expert, for example, it's not somebody you'll start worrying that, oh my God, my information will be all over the place, or then I'll not get the service I want, because we've worked with them, we've vetted them. You're sure that the service you'll get is, a proper service.
So ladies, for our audience, what's the one thing that you'd guarantee any small, medium enterprise, any business person who's looking for a lawyer, so looking for a legal firm of choice? What's the one thing that you'd guarantee them that at MNO, this is what you're getting?
At MNO, you'll get a partner. You'll get a partner who will work with you from the onset. From when it's just an idea in your head. When it's just an idea in your head, come to MNO. We'll figure out with you this idea. Let's translate it into this sort of business. Let's pack it into this vehicle. These are then the contracts you need in place. These are the partners you need to work with. This is how you go to the regulators. This is now how you will run the business. And then, in the middle of whatever else challenge comes along, won't we have started with you? Therefore, we'll know what you'll need at every other point. So I can promise a client that when they walk to MNO, they'll get a partner who will relate with them from the beginning of from the point of them having an idea.
Yeah, for me, again, from experience, is I would tell the audience that do not be afraid to seek out professional services, legal professional services. Do not feel like there's a barrier or it's far away from you. It's accessible. You can come and seek those kind of services. Even like you see, like even in those side hustles or businesses you want to set up, you could be 2 or more people who want to set up an enterprise. How do you, both of you, protect yourself? What kind of contracts do you need in place? Is it a partnership? Are you going to have shares in the limited liability company? What kind of vehicle do you require to move forward as a partnership, not now just as one person? Because sometimes we've realized that people start very good businesses, but they did not factor in the issue of the partnership. They did not maybe have a partnership deed or a shareholders agreement, and now things have gone 5-6 years down the road. The partnership has fallen apart and they have no document to fall back on. So we work with you from the beginning. We help you establish, are you coming in alone? Do you have partner in future? Even if you're coming alone right now, in future, are you planning to bring on board other people? How are you going to do about this? What you've also realized in that now, with the digital space growing so much, is that even the government is on board. So even these services have been digitized. Like the BRS system right now is working very well. It's there. But what you've realized is that, yes, you can go in there, log in and have yourself, register yourself, whatever entity you want. But do you understand what are the requirements for this entity? What are the compliance issues? What do you need to be able to? It's not that you just set it up and then 6 years down the line, you have issues with tax. You've not been filing your tax returns. When you're registering for your PIN, what obligations do you have under that particular PIN certificate? These are things now we take you through. Because we've realized there are people who are just, is a business, probably it's their business name, but your PIN has a obligation that is not even supposed to be there somehow, because maybe you just went to a cyber cafe, maybe you went to a cyber cafe, somebody registered for you a PIN in a matter of seconds, but you don't understand what those obligations under that PIN certificate is. So that's where MNO comes in, and that's where we make sure we work with you. So there is guarantee that we are working with you step by step to whatever dimensions your business may take.
Wow.
If I could add on something Daisy has touched on, partnerships. Something we've noticed when people come as a group. So you've come together as a group and you have this great idea. And at the beginning maybe you met at a restaurant and it was looking very nice
in campus.
And you start the business. And then at some point when the money starts coming in, that's when the problems start coming in. Because you didn't have a partnership deed where you laid out who gets what, this is how we are relating. I think what I'll tell our audience, please have the deed before the money. It guides everything. Have a document before the money. Agree before profits start coming in. This is what this person is earning. This is this is how we'll share profits. This is how we'll share losses. This is how we are approaching banks. This is it's 2 to sign. How many people can access the accounts, for example. How are we addressing the public? Who signs a memo, for example? Who signs out a public notice to the public? So these are things that when you're starting out and it's an idea and it sounds exciting, you don't think about. And that is why, again, it's good to have a partner, and in this case have MNO by your side, so that when you're starting out, have the document first. The document first, because we've seen clients coming to us when there's a fire, people are not even able to sit in a boardroom together, because now even
the partners
of those businesses,
the guys who form the business, and then things go south.
People are now throwing punches, hurling insults at each other.
They just
money changes the dynamics of any. Let's just be honest. Money changes the dynamics of any relationship.
Well,
you see, you get to a point where someone is saying, "Oh, I contributed more." Where is the evidence for that? There's no evidence.
Wow.
They don't even have an idea of what each of them put in and what are the ratios. It's just becomes such a problem before you're able to solve all that. The initial thing that was a very good idea now completely dies.
People come and one is carrying a chair, another one is carrying a stool. It just becomes quite tacky.
And we've, especially the creative industry, this has really affected. For example, even in the music and music industry, the creatives generally find very talented people come together and have done a production. But in the beginning, they didn't sign anything. There was no document. They just found themselves in a very good environment and created something. Either it's a spoken word or a poem or music, but they didn't sign any documents.
Wow.
They went to studio. They recorded that
Songs,
that
kit.
that piece of art or that production. But even with the producers who did the production, they didn't sign any agreement. All they did, but the producer owns everything.
Oh, wow, that's sad.
Yeah. So at the point of creation, from that point where you have this idea in mind and you're thinking, I need to partner with that, come to us and we shall guide you on what contracts we'll put in place to protect you and what you contributed in that production.
Yeah, I think even fearing the cost is another thing.
That's something I actually wanted to be the devil's advocate, because most times, okay, at least from my own experience and even having conversations with my own friends, when I tell them, like I keep encouraging them, you to go to the next level. We keep saying we're building a legacy. Yeah. You need to really do things right. And I tell them, okay, get lawyers, go to Eminem. Then the first thing is like, the money. But then I think, which is what I've really appreciated as well, like having a payment plan. Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's a cost to everything.
Absolutely.
Right? To services.
Yes, there's a cost to everything. I mean, and you always, to protect something that is of value to you, you'd need to spend a cost.
Yeah.
So when you walk through our doors, don't think about the money first. Think about securing your interest in this thing that you value highly. So come to us, and then we usually give our clients a payment plan where we are not expecting you to pay 100% of this fee immediately. We'll stagger it depending on how long this matter will take. So at a certain point, we'll ask you to pay a certain amount and so on and so forth, all the way to the end. So we usually like telling clients to be like our audience. Don't fear walking through our doors because you feel like this is an unattainable service. I'll not need it. I cannot afford it. No, you can afford our services. We will structure it in a way that you can afford it, and then allow you to pay pole pole too, like the way you can go to any other place and maybe and pay for that service pole pole. And
it's important for me to mention, I also like the fact that your timelines, when you say this is going to be delivered at this time, it's attainable. Whether it's been for me in my own matters, whether it's something that has been in court or it's a property I'm acquiring, I like the fact that the service is timely. It's not ati title deed itatoka 3 years later. No, I like that, and I think that's something that is important to mention, because of course, for our audience, I know these are things that people have experienced even with the court system and legal services, not just the cost, but even timelines almost feeling lucid.
I think how we also go about that is to have realistic conversations with our clients, where we explain, in certain instances, of course, expectation. We set the expectation for you to know that in certain instances we are not operating in a lacuna. We are probably working with a government body, and this is how that particular government body operates. So we like realistically. We give realistic expectations, but also as we go along the way, how we do that then is not by going quiet. If a matter will take, for example, a month, you'll have weekly updates. There's somebody who will contact you and tell you at this point this is where we are at, so that you don't feel, because I think what we've realized over time is what clients feel most of the time is the lack of information, like anyone else. If you're not given information, you feel like stuck. But if I'm telling you this is where we're at and updating you, then you feel comfortable knowing, okay, this advocate is actually doing what it is I paid for, because you have information about where we are at now.
That's important to mention. Even just understanding, for me, I felt like through the whole journey, understanding what does this mean for me, really like bringing that home and trying to help me understand, demystify whether it's those terms or what does this mean. And that has also made me feel like I'm involved, and it's not something that is happening to another person and the only thing I'm here to do is just pay. And even I think even with my parents, I'm walking that journey with them, making them understand this is where we are at, this is what it means. then there's trust.
Yes.
I can begin. There's that I'm able to trust you because I understand the process. I understand where we are at any given point. Yeah. So when you say a great relationship, the difference is a great relationship. That's something that I can
yes, and that connection where you feel like we understand you, we understand what the issue is, and we've worked with you in solving it, and step by step by updating you, like Terry is saying, you feel involved and part of the process.
Yes.
Mm.
So now, to wrap up our first episode, what's that one thing you'd tell a lawyer, a lawyer who wants to start their law firm?
Start. One. Go ahead.
Just start.
Just start.
Just start.
But I think seek out people who've gone ahead of you.
Okay.
So that I think what has helped us also is to just have mentors, if I can call it that. People who've gone ahead and, law firms we admire, who we talk to, so that they guide us to avoid some of the mistakes they made. So even for you when you're starting out, seek out people who've gone ahead of you, who are willing to work with you and help you avoid some of the mistakes. But I mean, it's a worthwhile journey. So just go ahead and start.
Yes.
Daisy?
Yes. Seek all the support you need because you need a lot of support, either through mentors, other professions who help you in the various ways of running the business. Employees, seek out that, go out there and seek out that professional help in any way or form, of especially the mentorship from either other seniors who've gone through the same. Yes.
And I think that cuts across not just to any lawyer. It's
anyone not just in the law firm.
Your business, just start any business.
Seek,
get information,
help. Yes.
And I think we're willing to actually give that information.
Yes, it's out there. If you seek it, it's out there. You'll get it. Yes.
Be willing to invest, and even if it's just paying that price, getting legal advisory, get a partner who's willing to work with you.
Yes, exactly.
So thank you for joining us for our first episode. It's been such a great conversation.
Yes.
So to our audience, see you in the next episode. It's going to be an episode that's quite interesting because we dive into, the fire has started. You did not seek legal advisory. So what next?
Yeah.
Thank you.